In just a matter of weeks, the UAE has made two calculated moves that could trigger a seismic realignment in Gulf politics. We'll go by the chronology of events. First, it asked Pakistan to repay around $3.5 billion in loans earlier than planned. And second is leaving the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, or more commonly known as OPEC, after 6 decades. Now it seems both of these moves are calculated and aim to deliver a hard blow at parties involved. Let me explain. The loan recall hit Pakistan's weak foreign reserves, while the OPEC exit weakens Saudi Arabia's position as the undisputed leader of the oil cartel. In fact, these decisions come after the UAE suffered repeated missile and drone attacks from Iran, felt abandoned by the Gulf partners, and watched Pakistan play mediator between Washington and Tehran instead of firmly taking its side. And at the same time, Saudi Arabia signaled a special defense pact with Pakistan and stepped in with fresh money from the UAE Police Fund, deepening the sense in Abu Dhabi that a Saudi-Pakistan bloc is taking shape. Well, against this backdrop, the UAE's latest action looked less like isolated steps and more like an open contest with the Saudi-Pakistan nexus and a clear push to free itself from the Saudi dominance. So today in this edition of From the News Desk, we will break down for you step by step what both of these moves by UAE mean and how it might open a Pandora's box in the region. Well, the first flashpoint is the UAE's frustration with Pakistan over the Iran crisis. As Iran hit targets in the region, including oil and infrastructure assets in the UAE, Abu Dhabi expected its traditional partners to stand firmly with it and take a tough line against Tehran. Instead, Pakistan chose to act as a go-between in talks involving the United States and Iran, presenting itself as a mediator rather than an ally taking sides. For the UAE, already under heavy fire from Iranian missiles and drones, this middle-of-the-road approach looked like betrayal. In fact, reports say Emirati officials had privately urged Islamabad to adopt a harder position towards Iran. But Pakistan stuck to its new role as a neutral broker. Analysts quoted in international media described the mood in Abu Dhabi as one of deep anger, with the UAE leadership seeing very little room from neutrality when it was one taking the hits. Well, this irritation soon turned into financial pressure. The UAE asked for early repayment of loan worth about $3.5 billion, what were originally not due until the late 2027, an amount equal to roughly 1/5 of Pakistan's central bank liquidity at that very time. Well, that demand badly hurt Pakistan's already fragile economic position and sent a blunt political message. If you will not stand by us in a crisis, we will stop acting as your financial safety net. And here comes the most interesting part. Saudi Arabia quickly moved into the space the UAE vacated. Riyadh extended a $3 billion loan and promised an additional $5 billion credit line to Islamabad. And this came after Pakistan and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual defense agreement which reportedly allows Pakistan to provide nuclear and missile protection to the kingdom if needed. Well, the contrast is very clear. Where Abu Dhabi feels left down and is pulling back, Riyadh is tightening its embrace of Pakistan. Now, the second big move was the surprise UAE's decision to leave OPEC, an organization which Saudi Arabia has acted as a de facto leader for many decades. Well, Riyadh has traditionally set the tone for production quotas and price strategies, and other Gulf producers, including Abu Dhabi, have had to align with Saudi choices even when these clash with their own interests. The UAE is one of OPEC's largest oil producers behind only Saudi Arabia and Iraq, pumping around 3 million barrels per day and accounting for roughly 9% of the total group's total output. By quitting the cartel after 59 years, Abu Dhabi frees itself from quota limits and can produce at full capacity in a tight global market, boosting revenues and strengthening its position in energy markets on its own terms. Now, Emirati ministers have framed the move as a sovereign decision tied to national interests, real production capacity, and long-term market realities. But the political message is just as important. Abu Dhabi is no longer willing to let Saudi Arabia dictate its oil policy and broader regional strategy. Leaving OPEC removes a key ally from Saudi's side inside the cartel at a time when OPEC is already under pressure due to the US-Iran conflict and disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz. Though we can say this is not a total and complete break. The UAE and Saudi Arabia still share strong trade ties and sit together in the Gulf Cooperation Council or the GCC. Yet this is the most public and high-impact step the UAE has ever taken in years to show that it will not automatically follow Riyadh's lead. Now, beyond oil and loans, the UAE and Saudi Arabia are also competing in regional wars and power games. In Yemen, they both entered the conflict in 2015 to restore the internationally recognized government, but soon clashed over strategy. Saudi Arabia pushed more for political deals with the Houthis, while the UAE backed southern separatists and took a hard line against Iran-aligned groups. Since 2019, these differences have badly strained what once a close partnership. Then comes Sudan's civil war, where they back opposing sides. The UAE is widely accused of supporting the Rapid Support Forces, while Saudi Arabia, along with Egypt, backs the Sudanese army. And this rivalry for ports, resources, and influence along the Red Sea has turned Sudan into another arena where the two Gulf powers are on the opposite sides. Now, with Pakistan drifting closer to Saudi Arabia through defense and financial deals, the UAE sees an emerging Saudi-Pakistan nexus that sidelines its own interest. Abu Dhabi's early loan recall and OPEC exit, coming on the top of its anger over Pakistan's Iran mediation, appears to be its way of hitting back. But still, it is not clear whether this is a full-blown break or a tough bargaining phase. The UAE insists its partnership remain important and stresses concepts like trust and credibility with its allies. But the timing and scale of its recent move shows one thing clearly. Abu Dhabi is using financial and energy tools to mark independence from Saudi dominance and, more importantly, to punish Pakistan for what it sees as disloyalty, pushing Gulf politics into a new, more openly competitive era.